Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Play the Hits, where after a brief Thanksgiving hiatus, we're gonna continue right on trucking with Link's Awakening. How you doing tonight, Nick?
Can you believe it's already December?
No, I
Well,
cannot.
I mean, okay, we did have a super late Thanksgiving, so December started 2 days after that, but still.
Time makes fools of us all, Nick.
I'm not ready to close out 2019 yet. It's moving too quick.
No, I'm in that same boat here. All right, you.
Man, Nemo's dad really let himself go.
Nemo, I'm Mambo.
Oh boy.
All right. What was Nemo's dad's name again?
Ah, it was like Cletus.
Cletus. Discount Cletus. Ah.
What is this song for? I don't remember songs in the original Zelda. I mean, I know where they were in there. I just forgot what purpose they served.
It's for the people, Nick. For the people. I mean, come on, that was fucking delightful.
Well, yeah, sure. I mean, I enjoy all underwater songs, but what does Mambo's Mambo do?
Now we can warp.
Oh, that's actually useful.
Yes, it is
There's
quite useful.
3 songs in this game, right?
Yes, correct. So, what's gonna happen now is kind of part 2 of our great shell fetch quest. Because we have a few possibilities opened up to us now.
Now, we're 4 dungeons in with 4 to go, right?
Correct.
Okay.
That's a 1. And I think there's another down here, but we need the hook shot. There may also be a piece of heart close by.
Does the tuning fork go off for just shells or just things in general?
Just shells.
Okay.
Just shells. Okay, I think the heart piece is down to the bottom left here. Either way, though, this is gonna go a little quicker because we just have more things open to us with the flippers. Oh, it's a girl. I mean, ghost.
Oh yeah, he does start following me at this point, huh?
Yep, he just wants to be dead for reals. There's the heart piece.
Oh gosh, yuck. I'm trying to get rid of all this discount tea I bought last year at this time.
Oh, really?
That doesn't taste like apples at all.
No, it won't. I'm actually enjoying a nice glass of brandy myself from that local distillery.
No, what distillery is that?
Cardinal Spirits.
Oh, that's right.
I think I took you there once.
Yeah, and then you got that coffee liqueur for me.
That's the one, yes. Yes, we know where you live.
Boy, remember when this ghost was really creepy in the original?
Yeah, the sprite on the Game Boy was a little... Nope, wrong song.
It also had that creepy sound that it made every time you moved to another scene.
Link. There we go. Alright, Mambo. Take me places.
Ow! Damn it. Here, there's your damn ball. Rex.
What? What do you
attention.
want? No! You pay
There's your
attention.
ball.
I've gone neglected for too long, goddammit. With your video games and
True enough.
female companions and... Here, my house.
Wow, you got there real damn quick.
Yeah, you can just warp straight there. That's
Yeah,
nice.
I remember when I had to figure this out. Oh, I just remembered my house is a pile of shit.
On second thought, take me to your house. Living with you now, Rumi. Looks like, fuck it, I'm gonna destroy this whole island anyway.
It's all the same to me.
Nostalgia. Wait, is this the ghost or is it just a metaphor for you, the player?
Maybe.
I say we trash this joint.
Literally the only point of this is to be able to continue the quest, right?
Because let me think here, what does it give you?
I know in the original you had to get rid of him because you couldn't go into, like, caves with something following you.
Oh yeah, you're right. It's just to get him off your back.
Pretty much.
I think he gives you a reward. There we go. Now he's got to go to his grave. But before he does that, we're gonna get ourselves a seashell. right.
Okay,
then.
so this has been bugging me all week. Were you the one who recommended to me? Oh, we have flippers now.
Correct.
Were you the one who recommended to me the book? Damn it, what is it? The End of Camelot.
Yes. Camelot falling, Camelot ending. Something.
Camelot has fallen.
John F. Kennedy is dead. In other words.
Now that was the one about Ted Kennedy and Carter, right?
Yeah, correct.
Okay, I did not realize this, but there was a weird convergence because I actually listened to, when it first came out, an extensive NPR segment on the book.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah. They're talking about that awkward, how like the whole book leads up to the climax of that handshake between Kennedy and Carter. That was really bothering me. I couldn't remember if it was NPR or you, or it turns out it was both. Okay.
Turns out it was both. Turns out Chris is NPR.
Well, we all get our book suggestions from different places, right?
Actually, I wouldn't be surprised if that's where I heard of that one as well.
Quite possibly, because they did a really good segment on it for about an hour.
I think I know for sure that I got the Chicken Shit Club from NPR.
Mm-hmm. Oh boy, I would have taken his butt straight to the regular graveyard for regular Ghost.
Yeah, that's where I was going originally, but looks like I'm gonna put you in the ground myself. Oh wait. Hey, there we go. That's the
I
ticket.
thought you were supposed to go to his house and lift up a jar. Well, this is much more convenient.
Indeed. Now let me think here. Seashells.
There will be many dead things when we're finished with this island, Link.
Remember, Link, everything dies. Don't ever forget, Link. You'll die too. We all float down here, Link. Oh, God. Suddenly the owl takes on a much more sinister air. We all float
that's
down.
delightful.
I don't know if I've asked you this before, Nick, and I'm sure that I have, so, pardon me for treading familiar ground on a now 3-year-old YouTube channel. But, who is your favorite rendition of Pennywise? Tim Curry or Skarsgård?
Well, I mean, there's really only two choices. I don't know. That's kind of a difficult question because I felt like Tim Curry was doing the best he could with what he had.
Yeah, he had to censor it quite a bit, of course.
The Skarsgård performances, while very good, were in kind of like just really mediocre movies. So I don't know.
Now, see,
I guess it's gonna be one of those situations of.
Go ahead.
They excelled at different things.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say that I actually still am in the camp that I thoroughly enjoyed the first of the Skarsgård movies and thought the second one definitely did some things right, but I don't know, it felt like they went overboard on certain things.
Yeah, it was very clear they had a scary clown, but I mean, the movie kind of turned into the theater of the absurd with too much clownage.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can see that.
I don't know. I guess I'd kind of have to lean towards Tim Curry because I have this real affection back for when your acting in a movie was limited to what the actor could do instead of having an army of special effects people behind you.
Yes, that is for true.
So I do kind of have a more keen appreciation from, art through adversity, if you will.
Yeah, I can see that. You think, did we get what's... Yeah, we did.
So yours was what? Skarsgård?
Well, again, I kind of grew up with Tim Curry, so I think Tim Curry had the more iconic performance. I think Skarsgård's was better acted. I mean, just the sheer magnitude of his personality brought a lot of unique things to that performance that you really can't fake with special effects. Okay, I definitely got the one.
Right.
And so I give... And it always takes courage to take on a role as big as that, because no matter how good of a job you do, there are going to be people in, like, the Stephen King fan community that, it's never going to be enough.
The hell with fan communities. Who cares what other people's opinions are, right?
That's exactly right. And so it was impressive of him to do.
Look at what happened with Joaquin Phoenix and Joker. I mean, everybody said nothing can top Heath Ledger, and Joaquin Phoenix did very good.
He did a phenomenal job.
Now, I'm surprised.
From what little I've seen. I still haven't actually seen said movie.
I've heard that, strangely enough, they might be seriously considering a sequel. Now, this is intriguing to me because Joaquin Phoenix was very much in the one-and-done camp, but my buddy Glenn yesterday was over, and he's telling me, yeah, that's what the plan was, but I guess he had so much fun with it.
Yeah, I can see
that.
But
here's the thing, is that the way the first movie plays out, like, this is going to have to be like 20-year-old Batman taking on 50-year-old Joker.
Yeah, I was going to say, because from what little I know about the movie, isn't Bruce basically a child in this one? And Joker's already like a struggling middle-aged man.
I don't know, I'd like say 25 on the youngish side, but I mean, like I said, even then you're heading into like 20-year-old Batman beating up on.
He's supposed to be 25 because he looks like he's at least 45.
I mean, I'm like being really generous because I don't want to see 25-year-old Batman beating up someone who's eligible for a Golden Buckeye senior discount card. Something about 70-year-old Joker just isn't as appealing.
I totally forgot Gotham, Ohio. That's right. That sucked.
Oh gosh.
Like, we don't know what state Gotham is actually in, but it turns out it's just fucking Ohio. God damn it. Okay, I gotta actually pay attention.
This damn fish.
He's just a punk is all he is.
So, it's December. Would you say we're in territory where we can declare a game of the year yet?
Yep. I mean, mine's been declared since January, so...
what was that?
Resident Evil 2, no contest. I mean, actually, there is a contest because this comes damn close. But I think in terms of... whereas this is...
Boy, March of the remakes.
Yeah, definitely. Right? So like, this would be my runner-up for this year. But the deciding factor was... So, Resident Evil 2 as a remake did enough with the established game to make it feel like an entirely new experience. Yeah. Whereas this game is most definitely still the exact same game from which it sprung. You know, which isn't a bad thing. It's actually a wonderful thing.
Remakes and retools are easier to do because you've already got the general sketch laid out for you. You just have to add more bells and whistles, which isn't a bad thing.
I mean, honestly, I would almost venture to call this game a remaster. I mean, definitely a built from the ground up remaster, but a remaster nonetheless. I'm getting this damn fish. I think they keep making him smaller and smaller until I can catch him. This is the pity fish.
That sounds like something Nintendo would do.
I mean, look how much littler this one is than the original I got. This is the pity fish.
We don't want you to feel bad about yourself. Would you like to play as Super Luigi to catch this fish?
Would you like us to catch the fish for you? Oh god, they gave it to me. That was so sad.
Lord.
Here's your bronze medal.
Wow, you're a great fish. Yeah, that's a 17-inch fish.
There's your shell. I don't need any more of your pity fish. Oh, wait. Is there straight up... Is there a blooper in there, too? If the blooper's here, this could be good news. Nope, it's just another cheap.
Doesn't look like it.
Let me catch this this punk right here and see if blooper will show up real quick.
Sure.
Because that's another... It might be a heart piece, but just in case it's a shell.
There we go.
Link's done fucking around.
Like, there's no way that's 14 inches and the other one was 17.
Let's catch another blooper while we wait. Or not a blooper, cheap.
So anyways, my game of the year at this point.
Yeah, go ahead.
It is without doubt going to be Bug Fable.
Really? It's that good, huh?
Sweet, merciful God. Have you ever bought a game, like, you know, that reminded you of something and you're like, boy, I hope this is like, you know, like a decent imitation of what I was looking for?
Yeah.
This game hits every note that made Paper Mario amazing. And it almost exceeds it in some ways, which is mind-boggling to me.
Is that right? Is this going to have to be one that we play on Play the Hits, or is it kind of...
Well, I'm 20 hours in, and I'm only through Chapter 2, so...
Oh, okay.
We'll probably do some post-game content, because this game has got... It's got post-game, it's got some optional dungeons, it's got some overpowered bosses early on that the game just kind of dares you to take on.
Right.
Back when Nintendo wasn't, screwing around with difficulty.
Sure.
So yeah, I mean, I'm surprised. There's just so much extra content. I was expecting a really kind of milquetoast, like, hey, look at this, it's like Paper Mario. But no, this game is.
Remember the '90s?
Yeah, I mean, like, and that's okay for $20. I'd have settled for that. But man, this is like a full-on $60, almost better than the source material kind of game. And I'm just like, I'm shocked, like legit shocked. This game, I don't think, it has 250 reviews on Steam. It does not have a single negative review so far.
No kidding.
I mean, it's amazing.
That sounds worthwhile.
Let's just remember that I'm a curmudgeon and nothing makes me happy. This game is nothing short of amazing.
You're a hard ass when it comes to these kinds of things. So. Shit. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, even the dialogue is fun between the main characters. I didn't think they could ever kind of recapture that tongue-in-cheek kind of cheekiness of the original cast, but yeah, Carl, me surprised.
I might have to check this out. I mean, let me know how long the actual... No, Chris. Let me know how long the actual project ends up being, and maybe once you know it a lot better, it'd be more feasible, but...
You can probably, if you were to play through it, get through it much, much quicker, because one of the cool things about... Are you looking for something here?
I'm just studying the map and seeing if there's any easy ones that I'm forgetting about.
Because another cool things that caught my attention is as soon as the game starts, if you've already played through Paper Mario and they're aware of this, they give you a badge that automatically puts you on hard mode, which is what I started off doing. Yeah, so like I'm already doing my hard mode run. And,
oh, nice.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of the cool things is on hard mode, it's not just hey, enemies do more damage. Enemies do more damage, but you get better rewards in EXP, and if you beat bosses on hard mode, they give you special
I know one
items you can only get by doing that. So yeah, it's one of those games that's chock full of stuff that rewards you for being good at it.
Okay, that is good news. I'm trying to think of...
Yeah, we'll probably end up doing at least the boss rush on this channel at some point.
Oh, kind of like Hollow Knight?
Like Hollow Knight?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, basically, it's like Paper Mario meets Hollow Knight meets It's a Bug's Life. So...
Okay. Is that called It's a Bug's Life?
Is that not what it is called?
I thought it was just called Bug's Life.
Yeah, I think you're right. It's just Bug's Life. A Bug's Life?
I feel like there's definitely one in Animal Village, but I don't think we can get it yet. A Bug's Life. I think you're right.
Yeah, you might be.
Nope. Chris, come on. Okay. Less map staring, more exploring. Let's do this.
Unfortunately, I get the feeling that, and not that I give a damn about these things, but when the quote-unquote video game awards come out for the year,
it's going to be like Sekiro and...
No, I mean, it's going to probably be all Death Stranding, right? Because, I mean, like, what is it?
I think Death Stranding was actually critically...
But it's a Hideo Kojima game, and you know what a crush the VGAs have on Kojima. I mean, they've tried to bring him up on stage the last 3 years.
This is true. I'm also thinking, what's that Fallout ripoff?
Well, it's not really a ripoff because
I can't think of what it's called though.
The Outer Worlds.
Outer Worlds, thank you.
Was made by Obsidian, which made the original Fallout games.
Ah, okay, that's right. Yeah, so it's basically more of a true successor sort of thing.
It depends on... Well, I mean, I've always been more of a fan of Bethesda's Fallout 3. There's a whole long storied history between what's actual Fallout and what's not.
Yeah.
But yeah, actually, I got to see some of that yesterday, and it's pretty good.
I know. I was gonna say it looks good. It looks like a fine RPG. So I would definitely be down to play it.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's got a nice kind of level up system, kind of like Fallout's. it's got a level up system that allows you to play the game significantly before you start investing in skills. So like, it's like, do you want to be a thief? Well, I don't know. I just got past the title card. Is
yeah, right. Is it okay to think about it for a second, or?
So.
Here's a heart piece.
Oh, cool. I did not know about that.
Yes. Well, again, they added a bunch of heart pieces.
Yeah, that's true.
So that may have been one that wasn't in the original.
But yeah, I forgot Sekiro came out this year, which was okay. I mean, it was nothing amazing. It was basically just more Japanese Dark Souls, right?
Sure. And then I'm trying to think of it. There was another kind of biggish one. I don't remember.
Now, Red Dead Redemption came out late last
year.
year.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was surprised because I had to look
sweep
that
a lot
up.
of Game of the Year awards for last year. God damn it. But in that instance, I would say rightly so. That was a damn well put together game.
It was a good game, but it's not a game that I think you can really see too much more of in the future. I mean, there's just so much nuance and attention to detail. I just don't think that's a feasible formula for, like,
the more technology evolves, the more companies seem to be certain that they're going to match it with that level of realism.
You can only pump out so many so many games with a $200 million dev cycle.
Yeah, but for every generation they will come. I mean,
that's true, and this one just happened to be good, as opposed to pumping $200 million into World War Z with Brad Pitt.
And getting mixed results at best. Yeah, that's not what you want for your investment.
Or good Lord, BioWare pumping out Anthem to the tune of like $120 million dollars and being flop on day 2.
This was the year of Anthem, wasn't it?
You can hardly even tell that fizzled already, right? Like, that fizzled day 2.
It was. God damn it! Yeah, you're right. It was dead out of the gate, which is not at all what they want. They were hoping to build like an entire universe-spanning franchise out of that game, and it just.
Well, it's funny if you look at what's been going on with BioWare. Like they said we're getting back into Mass Effect, and they released Mass Effect Andromeda, which was crap. And then there's oh man, if you thought that was good, we're gonna blow you away with our take on Destiny through Anthem.
Go figure that when the original Mass Effect team left BioWare itself didn't actually know how to make a Mass Effect.
Well, now they're pivoting back to saying, you know what, maybe we're gonna do that Mass Effect 4 after all.
Oh, for God's sake! Are they gonna dig up Shepard's bones and clone him?
I mean, who knows, and I guess who cares at this point.
Yeah,
well, they also said they're going to try to do something with Dragon Quest too. That series is coming back.
Well, at least with Dragon Quest, it ended on a not shit note. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I mean, hey, I think I've spent $100, maybe $150 on games total this year, and I'm as happy as a clam. So whatever happens. Good Lord, Bug Fable. 20 freaking bucks.
Nice.
Anywho,
I forget what this guy needs.
He needs to get his own problem solved instead of relying on someone. Vittles.
Nope. You're one cold hombre. Okay.
What do you have in the item exchange right now?
The honeycomb.
Make him eat the honeycomb.
Yeah, right. That's what I was thinking for a second. They're he looks like he'd be hungry.
So, it's the 5th. 15 more days till The Witcher comes out on Netflix.
Yes, I am ready. Netflix is dominating for me right now. I'm really excited about The Witcher, and then I'm also very keen to see The Two Popes.
I've heard good things about that. Isn't John Malkovich in there?
Hannibal Lecter. Anthony Hopkins is what I'm saying.
Anthony Hopkins.
Yeah.
Isn't it Anthony Hopkins and John Malkovich?
Does John Malkovich play Francis? Because I know Anthony Hopkins is Benedict. I'd have to look it up, truthfully.
Well, tell you what, I'll do that right now. Because I like to keep track of John Malkovich projects.
I can see that. John Malkovich is a fine actor. Who are this is a conversation we haven't had. Who are the actors that you will go out of your way to see? Regardless of the type of movie it is or the plot, who are just the actual personalities on the screen that you actually enjoy?
I'm not a huge person who follows a lot of movie types. Like I will actually go out of my way for watching or listening to certain books or shows with certain voice actors.
Okay.
But I do enjoy anything John Malkovich is in.
Clearly.
Yeah, right. Because he's just got such that funny range that he does, and he can switch from funny to serious.
Sure. You know, and that's a gift.
It is.
In fact, one of the actors that I'm gonna bring up can do that fairly well.
As far as voice actors go, I also thoroughly enjoy seeking out anything with John DiMaggio or Joe DiMaggio.
Okay.
He does Bender / Jake
right.
from Adventure Time.
Yeah, and also Vamp for some reason in Metal Gear.
Are you sure about that?
I'm almost certain. I'm fair. Oh no, I'm thinking of Phil Lamar. I'm sorry.
Yep. I also thoroughly enjoy Jim Cummings. He's pretty great too.
Yeah.
As a voice actor.
Yeah, Jim Cummings is a legend.
Oh, sorry, I forgot. Yeah, Jeremy Irons.
Jeremy Irons.
I saw
is a
Batman
good
versus Superman for Irons.
Just for Jeremy Irons. I can see that, dude. He's awesome.
Oh, and finally Ron Perlman.
Oh, Ron Perlman.
Yeah. He
Ron
was
fuck
so
mothering
good.
Perlman?
Yeah, he was so good in Sons of Anarchy that I just kind of try to see whatever else he's in.
Okay, cool.
So yeah, there's my incredibly sexist male-only list of actors.
I was just gonna say, but if I were to be honest, my list is probably largely the same. Very male-dominated. I would.
So what is your list?
Okay, so let me get the most generic ones out of the way. I like Michael Caine a hell of a lot. Like there's really been no bad Michael Caine film for me. And which is kind of hilarious because my first exposure to him was as Alfred in the Dark Knight movies.
Huh, really?
Yeah, no joke. But that's the thing. Like I didn't realize that he had been in other movies that I really enjoyed. Like, for instance, I just found out that he's in the fucking Muppet Christmas Carol, and, you know...
Okay, hold on a second.
John
Malkovich is very much not in this movie.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it is Anthony Hopkins and Jonathan Pierce. It is not John Malkovich.
It is not John Malkovich, okay.
So anyways, right, he's in the Muppet Christmas special, right?
Yeah, Michael Caine.
Right.
Yeah. But that's the thing, as a kid, I didn't know. Like, I didn't realize, like, the caliber of actor that they got to play Ebenezer Scrooge. I just knew that, you know, Kermit the Frog is in a funny but kind of sad movie. And that was enough for me as a kid. Anyways, going kind of further down that list, I really enjoy James Caan. And, you know, really, you could just kind of list off the cast of The Godfather. James Caan, Al Pacino, Robert Duvall. They're all just phenomenal actors. So
okay, I need to ask you something here. So you love The Godfather. What was your feeling on Goodfellas?
It was fine. I mean, it was a nice 90s, you know, back before throwbacks were the thing to do. It was a nice throwback to that era of filmmaking, and it did a respectable job of uniting these, you know, tried and true actors into one massive project. So I appreciated it for what it was.
I kind of prefer
it did not equal the Godfather for me, though.
I kind of prefer Goodfellas a bit over Godfather. I mean,
really?
Just because it's a little... I mean, The Godfather's a masterpiece, but
yeah.
Goodfellas is a little easier to just pop in and appreciate. Godfather, you really do have to sit there and be like, oh, okay,
you do have to invest yourself into the mythos a bit more.
Yeah.
Okay, so you like Goodfellas. What was your take on Casino?
I don't think I've ever seen Casino.
Oh, really? Oh, dude, see Casino. It's in that same vein, and it's almost got, like, verbatim the same cast.
I was kind of leading up to if you had any plans on watching The Irishman.
Yes, but right now I don't have 3.5 hours to spare.
Yeah, good lord, right?
Maybe even this weekend. I'm not certain yet.
I do want to see that, yeah. Who was in Casino? 1995?
Maybe-ish, somewhere around there.
Who directed it? Martin Scorsese?
Ooh, Good question. For a movie that I actually enjoyed, I don't know. It seems like a Scorsese film, but it's got all the usual suspects. It's got De Niro. What it's most famous for is absolutely the most brutal way that Joe Pesci has ever died on camera, including Home Alone.
Right.
Like, if Kevin McAllister actually was intending to kill these two, like that's what happens to Joe Pesci in Casino. But it's still also just a good,
okay, yep.
Las
here
Vegas
is.
gangster film.
I will have to check this out. My mother likes these old gangster films.
Isn't it weird that Casino is now old? Like, literally an old film?
I can't really speak to that because I just now found out this existed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so thank you. See, like, my easy Mother's Day present for her or Christmas is always like, hey, come over and we'll watch Goodfellas over a pizza. Now
Okay.
I've got something else we can watch that's not The Irishman for 3.5 hours.
Right. So let me think here. Going back to the original question, as far as actors, some of my less likely suspects, and I think I talked a little bit about this with Max, Jackie Chan is one of my all-time favorites. Just because of the way that he marries comedy and action and can do dramatic roles and singing all at the same fucking time. That guy's a machine.
Yeah, he could definitely do just about. He's one of those people you see and he makes me feel bad. Like, I wish I could just do one of these things.
I know, he is, like, and I think he kind of goes off the radar of most people's, like, greatest actors who's ever lived list, simply because he's primarily known for his kung fu. But he's really just got so much more than that going for him, and I've really grown to appreciate that with age. So he's definitely on there. A more modern actor that I think is only getting better with every sequential role that he takes is DiCaprio, actually.
It's been interesting kind of seeing him.
Yeah, like, I kind of gave him the upturned nose for a long time because of Titanic. I just figured, why do I want to see, the pretty boy rom-com kind of guy? But he's so, like,
Did you clear out that dungeon down there?
Yeah, that's what we're going to do.
Okay.
We're heading to the dungeon now. I mean, we'll have the hook shot after this, and then I really don't even have to try anymore as far as seashells.
Gotcha.
So yeah, DiCaprio has really impressed me over the last 20 years because it's almost like he turned his career to get rid of being typecast as the Titanic handsome lead, and he just takes really adventurous, bizarre, and even like funny roles. I mean, he's a good actor. Along that same line, but still maybe a little more by the books, is Michael Fassbender. I really enjoy him. And it's just kind of one of the same things where, like, there's not one project that I can point to and say distinctly, like, this is where I became a Michael Fassbender fan. But it's more just like, when's the last time I saw a Michael Fassbender movie that I haven't enjoyed?
Right. Fair point.
Right.
Oh, good
Chris.
Lord.
What am I doing?
This game makes these little mask guys look less like little insect creatures and more like guinea pigs with the mask.
Yeah, you kind of feel bad for killing them.
Yeah.
But then you don't.
Bad. Well, it's got to be done.
I'm 4 seashells away from that sword. God damn it. We could have had it, but that's okay.
Well, I mean, it's not as though you're having a DPS trouble at this point.
No, we're fine.
Interesting. Now, have you seen El Camino yet?
No, and that's... God, I need to catch up on my Netflix.
See, here's the thing. I'm trying to finish with a couple shows that I'm watching now.
Last one, Bryan Cranston.
I wanted to say Bryan Cranston, and then I just kind of realized he doesn't really knock my socks off. He's
it's a generic
good actor.
pick. Yeah, right. It's a generic pick, but you just have to admire the fact that this guy has been plugging away at the comedy scene since fucking Seinfeld, and he's just getting recognition for Breaking Bad. I mean, you have to admire an industry stalwart who finally gets his big break after years and years of good performances. Yeah.
Right.
And so that's kind of, like, I almost appreciate him less for Breaking Bad than I do for, Dr. What was his name? Tim on Seinfeld.
I know who you're talking about.
Tim Watley.
Was he the
and the dad on Malcolm in the Middle? Yeah.
Was he the dentist on Seinfeld, or was he like
the one who converted to Judaism just for the jokes?
Yeah, I thought he was one of Elaine's friends from the Bizarro World episode.
No.
You're probably right. I only have a vague...
Because he was recurring. He was definitely the Tim Watley.
That's right, yeah. Okay, yeah, he was on there a couple times.
Yeah. Him and David Putty are the two, like, side characters that I most enjoyed on that show. Speaking of which, there's another fine actor, too, and he almost does as much voice work as he does live performances.
Yeah.
Oh, crap, what's his name? Joe on Family Guy, The Tick. I mean, basically anytime you need a strong male voice, there he is.
Mm-hmm.
Shit,
yeah,
what's
so
his
anyways,
name?
I have...
yeah,
I'm trying to finish up what I'm watching now so I can start my free 30-day trial of Netflix and try to watch everything in 30 days before I have to pay for anything. So I'm trying to watch... Hopefully I'm going to get to watch El Camino in that time span. I mean, I always told myself...
Yeah, if you see it before I do, let me know what you think.
Yeah, I mean, Jesse's story holds zero interest to me, but a 2-hour investment, I'm sure I can...
You could do worse, yeah. And you know,
I mean, between that and season 6 of BoJack, that should be enough to kill time until The Witcher comes out.
Sure, and then we can watch the Pope movie together and rant about Catholicism and the representation of religion in cinema.
I'm just gonna leave Catholicism there.
Oh, come on, you've still got enough Catholic guilt to see the Pope movie. I know you do.
Well, there's Catholic guilt, and then there's, guilt for what the Catholics have actually done.
God damn it.
I mean, Pope Francis can virtue signal all he wants about calling Donald Trump a monster and this and that, but I don't know, maybe take care of your pedophilia problem first in the church. Or,
did you hear that he just canned that cardinal who had been letting... priests get away with that for like 30 plus years or something like that?
Oh yeah, this isn't even the first time. I mean, like, basically, like, he reacts after...
Yeah, you're right. I mean, it would have been a lot more meaningful had it taken place, 30 years ago.
Like, but this also happened...
Francis can hardly be held accountable for that.
Well, I mean, this happened... Well, he can be held accountable for not doing anything about it. I mean, this happened just last year.
I mean, like before he was Pope. But you're right. I mean, he's been Pope now for, what, 4 years?
Well, don't say that you're going to right the wrongs of the past and then not right the wrongs of the past. And also, don't get up there like a jackass and say the church's troubles are due to the great accuser. I mean, good Lord. Don't blame Satan because you're... Anyways.
Do you need me to get theological on you? I mean, don't get me wrong. Leave it to me to defend the Pope. I'm a fucking Lutheran, but... Oh, right.
Anyways, yeah, well, Satan didn't molest those kids, and Satan didn't let the church get away with it for 50 years, and then Satan didn't shuffle the priest around and take no responsibility for anyways.
Did you ever see the old... Oh, man, as long as I'm on my sexist chain of actors that I really enjoy, Robin Williams, God rest his soul, did you ever see his old stand-up routine?
I'm sure he had more than one.
Well, yeah, but this one was particularly good. It was
vaguely familiar.
It was right at the dawn of the internet when the sex scandals really first started breaking and getting major attention because of the rate at which information could be transferred. So Robin Williams did this hilarious song bit, tongue in cheek, just decimation of the priesthood, and He did, like I said, it was literally a song and dance number. It went, don't you ask, don't you tell, you might end up right in hell. Moving them around, moving them around. Here's your check, direct from Rome. Buy yourself a brand new home. Move them around, move them around. It was awesome, I know. And, I can't possibly do it as good as Williams did, but you get the point.
I'm gonna have to look this up.
He spared no feelings. I think it was called Live on Broadway.
Oh my god!
It was the funniest 2 hours of stand-up comedy I think I've ever seen.
Yeah, it's just one of those things that just sticks in your mind for how egregious it was. And you're just shocked people are more outraged about it. But
and that's kind of the thing. Okay, now we'll get bloopers. And that's kind of the thing too. I'm obviously not in the camp that we should, you know, abolish the Catholic faith or anything like that, but damned if you don't do something about...
Couldn't hurt to try, eh?
Damned if you don't do something about the priesthood. I mean, my God. You know, maybe like the whole like celibacy vows aren't working, or I don't know, could be just me.
maybe try something, you know. Well, I mean, letting the child
background
molesters
screenings or something.
Letting the child molesters get married probably isn't going to solve any problems. But
well, that's the thing.
Yeah.
I'm almost wondering if the culture,
celibacy thing is
if the culture
stupid in
they've
and of
created
itself.
breeds pedophiles. I'm you know, if we had actual viewers, I'm sure the red flags would start flying up right now. But
well, thank God we don't.
no,
so.
but seriously though, I mean, this is our personal diary, and so I'm just gonna say it. Like, do you think like this hyper pious celibate holier than thou movement has not only provided a safe haven for pedophiles, but has actively encouraged men who would not otherwise be so inclined to view it as the only sexual release they will ever have?
Right.
And they relied on shame culture for that, you know? Like,
right.
okay, I can't get my rocks off with a woman. Here's a little boy who isn't going to be able to tell anybody because no one will believe him and because it's so shameful. I think that absolutely...
which is weird for a profession where the only person who, you know, you answer to is the one who sees everything.
Yeah, right.
You know. But yeah, I mean, like I said, letting the pedophiles get married probably isn't going to help things. But you're right. But celibacy is an unnatural human state.
Yeah,
you know, it's not
absolutely.
something that should be imposed on someone who, admittedly, already has an exceedingly difficult job because they have to serve as a priest, psychologist, amongst so many other things.
Hey, you're preaching to the choir, my man.
So, you know, yeah, I mean, it's just, you know, we expect so much from that particular profession. I mean, they're not there just to profess faith. You have to, you know, like, hey, I'm having covetous thoughts of my own
Right.
I think I'm coveting
then
my
that
own
Flanders is, yeah, we got a few of
Right,
those
like-
too. Without getting any, without, of course, giving any personal details away, for the last, like, 2 weeks before Thanksgiving, I found myself in this awkward position where I had basically become, this, okay, so take this with a grain of salt. This self-appointed homeless woman, as in, like, not homeless because society failed her, but homeless because she absolutely will do nothing to better her situation. I basically became her social worker for 2 weeks. It had dropped, like, if you recall, in November, we had those, like, 1 or 2 nights where it was, like, 0 degrees out for some reason.
Yeah, with the polar vortex, yeah.
And so, you know, we provided her a hotel room to stay so she wouldn't freeze to death in her car. Well, she took that to mean, you know, this pastor is now going to pay my rent and get me back on my feet and this, that, and the other thing. And I'm like, you know, lady, we have, like, $1,000 a year that we can afford.
That was the budget.
Yeah, that we can afford to spend on the benevolence fund, and you are already half of that. So, you know, I mean, and so at that point, you know, I took it upon myself to try to connect her with various shelters, relief aids, food pantries, and she would have none of it. Like, you've heard the phrase, like, too proud to beg, basically. Like, that's kind of how she...
You can lead a horse to water, yeah.
Well, yeah, and that's the thing.
No, I mean, I've worked on fascinating because I have seen that very same thing. I mean, just some people. Yeah, I mean, I don't get me wrong. I love when Bernie Sanders gets up there and he talks about, you know, we need to do this and that to help the less fortunate. But
Sure.
The less fortunate do need to take the initiative to help themselves, and they don't always do that. Now, I'm not saying that it's like a huge amount of people, but I will say there is a very stubborn 10%
Sure.
of everybody you try to help who
Right.
just they're a wreck. You can't fix them
And
because they won't fix themselves.
I think, you know, people who do this kind of work for a living would be the first to tell you that. There's disabled homeless and veteran homeless and, you know, all these different kinds of people who have fallen into unfortunate circumstances. And then there are those who just, you know, refuse any avenues of help, whether it be rehabilitation for addiction or, you know, shelters for the evening or, you know, just endless cycles of self-pity and, you know,
Right, and you can't
victimization
on
by
them because
choice.
then you're taking resources away from someone who might actually, just need a quick hand up to get through a difficult spot.
Exactly. The secretary at our church, who is, honestly been doing stuff like this a heck of a lot longer than I have, she said, don't feel guilty about it. I've seen folks like this come through the church countless times. They don't know how to function unless they're being a victim. And so so that's kind of where I land with this, because I've had one or two folks that were very clearly taking advantage, and those it's really easy to say no, or let me connect you with this phone number or something like that. But then there's folks who come in with a really convincing story, as in I'm a little bit behind on rent, and so I have to sleep in my car until I can make the deposit. And in the meantime, can you help me with, a weekend in this hotel so I don't freeze? Yeah, I'm happy to do that. But then the phone calls start rolling in, right? And they have a new story for every single day of the week. And then it turns out they have a daughter who won't speak to them. So, you call her and ask if there's any options, like, oh no, she's been doing this for years. And, and that's why she won't speak to her. And so...
But it turns out the horrible bitch daughter just is tired of her mother's crap.
Mm-hmm. And honestly, that's where this story kind of came to its conclusion. I had to, tell her, you have family who's, willing to take you in and willing to help you. You have a whole bunch of organizations in town that are actually equipped financially and physically to give you the assistance you need. I can't be your personal bankroll. What am I missing with these guys?
One of them you can put magic powder on. Oh, you just hit them.
You just hit them. you gotta hit them with the sword, Chris. Hey, did you try punching him? Thanks, Knuckles. I'm just saying, sometimes when things aren't going my way, I just fucking punch some things until they do. Eat it, Goomba.
Speaking of which, Knuckles, are you still on probation?
Let's just say, Knuckles' record is gonna be clean for the new year, if you catch my drift.
Oh, gosh.
Wait a tick. That's what I thought.
Oh, that was much easier than I thought. Do we have a key? No.
No, No! Dadgummit. Okay, let's see. Pulling out the map. Alright, we need the hook shot to get over there. We were on the path to the hook shot, and I blew it. Hook shot for that one. Alright, let's just go back.
More of these masked guinea pigs.
They made their choices. But yeah, I mean, I forgot what even got us on this topic. Oh, Catholicism. And the priesthood in general. It being a high-stress job. And again, I'm not being like, woe is me. I actually happen to think I have a pretty damn good job. And I almost, on an average day, I don't feel like I do work that is worthy of, my pay and benefits, just because, it kind of comes naturally. I just generally enjoy helping people.
That's the joy of finding the profession you're good at in a decent paying field.
And that's the thing, though. When I say that, I'm almost thinking I feel like there are people who could do this a lot better than I do. Which is why I said I feel some days like I'm really not worthy of my pay. But it's also, I think there's an element of what you said to that as well. People who are a good fit for their jobs probably feel like that often.
Mm-hmm. Right.
But in any case, so some of the things that I'm not ever adequately prepared for, oh, my husband of 25 years is having an affair. What the? If you ever find out a good response to that, you let me know.
Yeah. Well, I know the proper response to that is, God will take care of it.
Yeah, no, that is absolutely not the proper response.
That's the. I was talking with this to a friend the other day, trust in God. Well, that's basically the religious way of someone saying,
not my problem.
Idea.
Yeah,
I have no idea, man. What do you say to that?
What's actually more effective is saying, I have no idea.
Yeah, I know exactly.
A
like,
little,
don't
free
put it on
advice
God.
for counseling friends and family. Don't be afraid to say, like, dude, that's fucked up, and your situation sucks.
Right, exactly. Well, I've always enjoyed this idea.
Like, God's got a purpose. You know, sometimes stuff is just fucked up. Like, that's even in the Bible.
Right.
Like,
I enjoy this idea that like God can create the universe in 7 days. You know, all the laws of physics, everything we see, every grain of sand. But for some reason, when Bill finds out his wife is cheating on him, like all of a sudden it's like, wow. God's like, wow, that's a real stumper. I don't know what to do about that.
God's
Bill.
coming up blank. No.
You know, right? I got nothing, man.
But yeah, that's an interesting thing as far as the counseling aspect of my work goes.
You see, I mean, that's the thing. Like, there's so many, and this is stuff I kind of noticed, like you know, like when you were going through the seminary and whatnot. I mean, they definitely drill you on the doctrine and, you know, the faith in that, but no one really teaches you, like you said, that other stuff about like how to do the social worker aspect.
Right. And let me let you in on a little secret here, Nick. Seminaries produce really good theologians and really poor pastors. I'm dead serious. Like 90% of what you learn in terms of practical theology does not come until you're in the field. Like no shit. And that's and again, like I said, there's a large aspect of
Are you saying that a field dominated and taught by older white males may just be a little bit behind the times?
Well, I'm saying that a field largely taught by academics and not clergy is finding itself increasingly irrelevant. And I think that's part of the reason that the church is shrinking, is that on the one hand, you either have like these prosperity preachers who tell you, you know, to pray your debt away, and then on the other hand, you have guys that are incredibly book smart, but are so detached and staunch and conservative that they don't know how to relate to people in the mission field, and so that people are going to places besides the church for counseling and care and aid and things like that. So that's just kind of what we're left with. That was the
Total
trick. I beat that third.
That is the smuggest ass looking Goomba I have ever seen.
He
Look at
really
that
is.
grin.
Like he is. Wait, wasn't this where the fourth? God damn it, Chris. Okay. All right. So where I want to come up is over here. Which one of these staircases does that?
God damn it!
Should have been paying more attention instead of talking about my
smug ass Goomba.
Fucking Goomba, he knows what's up. But yeah, so that's this got surprisingly deep.
Well, you know, those are the kind of conversations I enjoy.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's part of the reason we started this channel, right?
I mean, right?
You fucker. All right, so there's a staircase down there. That's not where I want to go. Maybe down here.
So, let's see here. Let's just start a pool. How long does the impeachment inquiry or articles of impeachment, how long does all this last?
Oh, it lasts to November 2020.
You think so?
Yeah, absolutely. Because their goal isn't to actually get him out of office; it's to get him voted out of office.
You think so?
Yeah, I think that the hope is they know they can't catch him in an actual crime. So the strategy is simply to parade his wrongdoing on the air constantly, so that it's at the forefront of the public consciousness all throughout the election cycle. Like there's no like legitimate way to beat him, so they just have to, you know, play the media.
Yeah, okay, I see that. I can see that.
Or at the very least, if there are any thinking brains in there, which I have to assume there's at least one, that's how I would play it. Because up until this point, they've been trying to point out, you know, this man is a, you know, crook, a probable pedophile rapist, a, you know, dishonest, cheating, lying, conniving man, and nothing seems to stick. So, what else can they do but just...
You don't think that we could... You don't think he'd just legitimately get beaten in November?
No.
Really? Why is that? Is that because Trump is unstoppable, or is it because the Democrats are just that weak?
The Democrats are just that weak. If there was a legitimate way to beat him, it would have happened in 2016 because he's clearly not a fit man for office. I mean,
I don't think
so.
I don't think that's the case. I mean, that was the Democrats. Well, I don't know.
It was entirely the Democrats'
I'm tempted
fault.
to say it's entirely the Democrats to lose. I mean,
it is. Well, and it was in 2016. I'm a blue-blooded Democrat, and I think the Democrats
in
are
2016
pathetic.
is what I meant. I mean, you can blame Trump for that and like the pendulum swing from the Obama years to pushing people to Trump. But
I actually don't blame
Hillary ran a very sloppy campaign.
I blame Trump for a lot of things. Winning isn't one of them. I mean, he won because
he did everything he could to show us he was unworthy of the office.
Absolutely,
right?
He like any other election cycle in the world, he wouldn't have even made it past the primaries. And don't get me wrong, you can say a lot about the GOP, and they have a broken and completely messed up party right now. But so do the Democrats by that same logic.
See, I don't know. I almost think the opposite. I think that the more some Democrats hear about the impeachment inquiry like me, the more they just tune out because it's one crisis after another.
I think for the moderate,
and I'm completely burned out.
I think the goal is to create burnout because the solution to burnout is get rid of the freaking maniac who can't go 24 hours without tweeting something hateful and ridiculous.
Let's talk about that. I mean, instead of the stale impeachment inquiry, we get that. How about this? How about Trump just signed an order to take 1 million people off of food stamps today?
Right, I know.
How about we talk about those kids who are going to end up going hungry?
Because the people who voted for him so that he would do that stuff.
Yeah, well, I mean, you're not going to sway any of the Trump voters. I mean, he's got his base. That's not going to change.
The moderates, the people who are on the fence that are like, well, he's white and I'm white, and maybe he'll do good things for white people. The way that you win them back over is just, again, fatigue. You just bombard them with constant negativity.
No, because fatigue breeds ennui, or I'm not... ennui, that's what that breeds, and eventually it's gonna be like, okay, it's December 4th or whatever. I don't even care at this point. I'm gonna stay at home.
I'm not saying that it's a good strategy in any other circumstance. I think it's the only strategy they have because right now we're waist deep into the Democratic primaries. And a suitable candidate or suitable alternative to Trump, besides Bernie, still hasn't presented themselves.
This is true. We don't know if we're going to get basically a blue dog Democrat like Joe Biden. Or we're going to get an abolish ICE and school loans and one-payer health care Sanders or Warren.
I would honestly,
I
would honestly like Bernie to win it, but I don't think he will.
Well, I can see, even if he wins, he's going to be...
He should never have adopted the socialist label, especially because he's not actually socialist. He's just a Democrat, but people forgot what Democrat means. I mean, the most of the Democrats, like Biden, if Biden were running in the 70s or 80s, he would have just been a Republican. I mean, he would have been just a, middle ground Republican.
Yeah. And I'm not just saying that because I'm reading the end of Camelot.
Yeah, no, but I mean, that is a true statement. I mean, Biden has a lot of conservative tendencies, and that's not a bad thing. I mean, I think moderate is a good thing, but moderates can't win anymore.
I don't think a lot of people want to run to the, I would hesitate to say extreme left, that is,
Biden has a lot of faults, but very few of them are actually political. He's just not the brightest tool in the shed,
He's prone to gaffes, just like any of us.
Yeah, but I mean, at this point, the bar has been set so low by Trump that he's positively, Ivy League by comparison.
I mean, I can't see anybody but Biden getting the nomination.
I think it's going to end with Biden. Yeah, I agree.
And then I'm sure the farther left part of the party will proceed to shit itself.
Yes, and that's what's going to happen again.
And then snatch victory from the jaws, or snatch defeat from the jaws of victory.
And that's exactly what I think is going to happen. I think that's what the Democratic Party is doing right now by shooting ourselves in the foot. I completely understand that for the far left, Biden is not the ideal candidate because, like I said, he's basically a closet Republican. But
well, that's okay because Donald Trump was a Democrat too. So.
Right? Yeah, that's also true. But the funny thing about that is, when Democrats don't get the exact candidate they want, they don't show up at the polls, and
letting the perfect be the enemy of the good.
Mm-hmm. And that's precisely what fucked us in 2016, and that's probably what's gonna fuck us in 2020 if the primaries are any indication. Because each and every one of these chuckleheads wants to be the, anti-Trump savior. And what's happening instead is they're shooting the whole goddamn party in the foot, and by extension, really, the country, because we're gonna end up with 4 more years of this loudmouth maniac.
And one of the things I've found amusing is I can't name you a single platform anybody is running on.
Right,
except
it's all
that they're
just not
Trump.
being Trump, yeah, and being
which
more woke.
is great until day one of being in the Oval Office, and then it's like...
And being more woke and relevant than the other candidates. I mean, that's pretty much the soup du jour right now.
Well, yeah, if you're going to appeal completely to sentiment and not substance, sure, right?
Isn't that just politics right now? I'm not trying to be smug. That's politics.
Right. And that's funny because you're one of the few people I have those conversations with. No, it's again, I'm going through and I'm reading the end. Camelot has fallen. How many different things can I call this book by the end of the night?
The Knights of Camelot. Yes, great book.
Right. But anyways, and there were pretty substantive debates that were going on about the inflation, the energy crisis, the place of nuclear power.
Sure.
And basically at this point, like all I'm hearing on the news constantly is, what did Trump say on Twitter?
Right. Well, so, it's like you said, it is entirely about sentiment and not about substance.
But anywho.
So yeah, that's wow. This place has gone all over the board right now. This conversation is all over.
These gomas are always a huge pain in the neck, anyways, because its eye tends to open. Oh, okay, you can hookshot them. That makes it a little easier.
Yeah.
Can you only use the arrows on them?
Fucking A, Nick.
Because traditionally you could only shoot them in the eye, and of course that tied you to, oh well, I'm out of arrows. Like, screwed now. Here's the last thing I'll say approaching politics. Did you watch that video of the NATO leaders making fun of Trump behind his back?
Yes, that gave me so much joy. And of course, it's generic, but it's generic for a reason. The Daily Show had a really good bit on it, where they showed, Trump's big, when he was first starting to campaign, his big thing about, like, how we need a president who's not the laughingstock of the entire world.
Proceeds to be the laughingstock of the entire world.
Yeah, right.
Anywho.
Yep. We're getting there.
I thought we did our obligatory mini-boss.
Did we? Oh yeah, that's right, the skeleton.
The Stalfos who just would not go down.
These guys take.
God, you know what I want to see an HD remake of, and like, really see them polish it up. I want to see Ocarina of Time. Redone with all sorts of bells and whistles and more content.
We kind of talked about this a little bit. Nintendo has like the grounds to start that, like just from the DS remaster. It could be done fairly cheaply, but I get what you're saying. What you would like to see is the full-blown remake, which I think they could also do, but probably won't anytime soon.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, I mean, they're already making Breath of the Wild 2, so that's not going to happen. Yeah, I mean, as much as I like the idea of Resident Evil 3 remake coming out,
that'll be cool.
It basically is just another roadblock on the path to Resident Evil 8.
And, that's okay, though. I mean, like I said, Resident Evil 3 is kind of a largely underexplored entry in the series.
Oh, you mean...
I didn't get the boss key, did I? Son of a bitch. It's alright, those guys aren't coming back.
There's someone out there maybe listening to us wearing a MAGA hat. Yeah, that's what you guys get for talking shit about Trump.
Yeah, right. Huh.
That's what you guys get for talking shit about Trump.
Damn lib cucks. Gave you what you deserve. Eh. Where was I going with all of that? Oh, Resident Evil.
Resident Evil 3 being underexplored.
Oh, yeah, so that'll be
Oh, I see it now. Okay, now we can get up there properly.
I don't know how...
We'll pull up your map. I'll show you how to get there.
Yeah, do it, because I just totally...
It's down... Which staircase is it?
Not this one. Is it this one? Yeah, it's this one.
Yeah, it is that one.
Yeah, okay.
Anywho.
I don't my point there was I wasn't
I
quite
feel
sure
like we got
killing those things accomplished.
I'm sorry, you go ahead, sorry.
Oh, killing those two things, I don't quite know what it accomplished.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Resident Evil. Basically it allowed you to get up there with the spawn. It allowed you to get down that staircase to get to the boss. I mean, I feel like I got my Resident Evil shooting zombies get chased by a super strong and unstoppable creature Phil by Resident Evil 2.
Well, that's the thing. I think with Resident Evil 2, it's going to be... I mean, that was kind of Resident Evil Nemesis in a nutshell, was you were being constantly stalked throughout the entire game by this, unkillable monster, as opposed to just for one portion of the game, like in Resident Evil 2.
True, yeah.
Now wait, how am I doing
Wait
this,
a second.
Nick?
Huh. Alright, well, we figured out which staircase it's not.
I just went in a big fucking circle again.
Oy. Okay, alright. Let's look at that map. There's only one other staircase.
Okay, so it's not this one. This is the one that I want. Okay, these are the two that... Okay.
So it's down there at the bottom left.
This one, yeah, it's...
Okay.
Alright. I'm not a smart man. This is not a difficult dungeon, I just was not paying attention. Anywho, so yeah, I'm very much looking forward to the Resident Evil 3 remake, and I think an Ocarina of Time remake would be really good. And we've talked about this almost ad nauseum at this point, but, for the future of the whole fucking series, I really hope Breath of the Wild isn't it. I hope at a certain point we do maybe find like a middle ground between expansive open world and... clever, enthralling dungeons. That would be kind of a nice...
I think there was enough of an outcry about the dungeons to where Nintendo's probably going to sit up and take notice of
I mean, it's Zelda. It's a franchise where they're going to pay attention, so...
I mean, there's enough open-world games out there at this point. Nintendo should know how to adapt that into their genre at this point.
Nick, what the hell?
Wait a second.
I've been over here, like, numerous times. Which staircase is it? Okay, this one leads to this one.
Okay.
And this one leads to this one.
Wait, there's an odd number of staircases, are there?
To this one.
But is there 7 staircases?
The upsetting thing is, though, that oh, it's the hole in that one. It's this.
The hole in the... God bless America.
Oi!
I'm glad you remembered that.
Well, again, it took me an extra 15 minutes to remember it, so this will be a slightly longer episode. That's alright.
Quite alright. Well, we got started a little late anyways, and we didn't even plan on doing a dungeon, so...
I also didn't plan on getting probably one of the most significant conversations we've ever had on this channel.
It was a good one. I don't know if I'd say the most significant, but...
Oh,
damn these guinea pigs. I was reading this week that apparently over in Europe it's now official... Apparently it's now illegal to own one guinea pig because one guinea pig will get lonely.
That is a European law if I've ever heard one.
Right, yeah.
Our royal family's involved in a bitter and illegal sex scandal involving Jeffrey Epstein. No, guinea pigs.
Right. That's kind of that European, that EU
priorities,
mentality.
My good man. The guinea pigs. They're lonely.
I also got a chuckle out of I don't get into like climate stuff too much, but I guess there is this article about how that Greta Thunberg, I think, is her name.
Thunberg.
Thunberg. I always called her Thornburg, and there's clearly no R, so whatever.
I was gonna say there's an H in there, so I'm inclined to pronounce it.
Well,
Thunberg,
neither is
but...
Colonel. You know,
Yeah,
there's
Colonel,
no
you
R
mean?
in that.
Yeah.
Colonial.
Yeah.
Anyways, I got a chuckle. I was reading an article. I guess she took a 20-day trip by boat from the United States back to Europe, but the captain of the ship had to fly from Europe to the United States
in order to make the trip.
In order to pilot the boats, and
Yeah.
I assume, probably take a plane back or something.
Yeah, you can't win them all.
Right. It's one of those things like, what a good actor.
That's just such a bizarre situation to me that that we even have, a 15-year-old girl getting so entrenched in these like bitter politics. I mean, like this is really kind of the height of our absurdity as a people, where no one is batting an eye at the fact that this child is being treated with the same vitriol and contempt as we would treat seasoned politicians. It's just well, not only that though.
Yes.
On the left side, taken just as seriously. There's people talking about like, oh man, we need to put her in a position of real leadership. No, dude, we absolutely do not.
Right.
And nay, we should not. She is a child and has not completed her education and would be catastrophic.
This falls
in a
into
leadership
the same category of, hey, we should draft Oprah because she's a star.
Because she gave a good speech about how unfair white people are, yeah.
I mean, this is exactly what the founders were worried about, that if we just let mob with democracy, we'd end up with Baby Yoda as president.
Right, someone listen to the children.
Right.
No, like, don't actually
Baby
listen
Yoda
to them.
Should be president.
What they mean by that is consider the children. Don't actually listen to them. I mean, can you imagine a fountain made out of chocolate chip cookies? It wouldn't work. Oh, Nick, look, it's your favorite. Oh, wait, no, this isn't your favorite boss. I was thinking it was the floor guy.
Mm-hmm.
This guy's just a punk.
It is, but this comes close.
This guy's just a creepy-ass looking punk. No, come here. Oh,
Put
really?
bombs in my mouth.
No. Alright, Chris.
This tail is a little bit more unpredictable than I remember it being in the
Well, at a certain point, I gotta hit him, so, Alright.
Don't you put a bomb in his mouth?
No, you'd hookshot him.
Well, okay. Yeah, you're right. Oh boy, his tail is always right there when he opens it.
It's almost like they planned it that way.
I don't remember this being so difficult.
It's not. I'm stupid.
Can you rehook shot him to pull him back up? It's like me in that whack-a-mole game.
There we go.
Did I ever tell you that whack-a-mole story?
Go for it.
Oh, well, that was it.
That was the golden ticket.
Well, I mean, in brief, there used to be whack-a-mole before it mysteriously disappeared from our arcade back when we had one in the early 2000s in
back
town.
Before the arcade disappeared from the arcade.
Right. And I realized that I was okay at whack-a-mole, but my strategy basically was to fixate on one mole and then beat the bejeebus out of it when it came out.
Mole.
And then I figured it would be
that mole
even
broke.
better if I just grabbed the mole when it came up with one hand and then hit it with the mallet.
Nick single-handedly shut down the Defiance arcade.
The mole stopped going down. I didn't realize my little 10-year-old hand broke it, but there I was, just the mole in one hand and the mallet in the other.
I'm winning. I'm
beating
winning.
the hell
Why
out
is
of
it
him.
giving me so few tickets? This is ingenious.
I realized after a while that you lose points for hitting the same mole twice.
Ah, I see.
So I ended up with like negative 200.
Sir, you owe us
Rightfully
some
so.
tickets. There's like two big guys with baseball bats waiting for you. Where's our tickets?
Sir, you were down 500 tickets.
It's
sir.
funny. I remember the Defiance Mall, at least in the late 90s, actually had a halfway decent arcade.
They had awesome stuff in there. I mean, they
For
had
a while,
Pocket
yeah.
Change, they had Mr. Bulky's Candy Shop.
They had Soul
A lot
Calibur
of
for
cool
a while,
things.
if I remember right, even. That was just...
They had The Simpsons.
Yeah. Nick,
And a
next
pet
time,
store.
Next time on Play the Hits, we're going back down memory lane. I'm not quite done
Less
yet.
politics, more nostalgia.
Yeah.
Unless you're nostalgic about the Obama and George Bush era, in which case maybe
I strangely am, yeah. But my closing thought for tonight, I don't know if I ever told you about this. I know for sure I told Max about it. There is an arcade about 45 minutes away from my house that is nothing but the classic, like, brick and mortar arcade games that you remember growing up with. The Simpsons, Virtua Fighter, Virtua Cop, like all of this. And you don't pay by the machine. You pay $10 to get in, and you can stay for as long as you want and play whatever you want.
Oh, see, now that's a cool idea.
Next time on Play the Hits, we talk more about it, and I convince you to get your ass down here so we can go.